Let's be real. Starting, running, and scaling a coaching business can feel exhausting. I mean, you've got the marketing, the hustling, the selling, all that stuff you didn't realize you would need to master when you decided to start a coaching business. For anything like me, you started your coaching business to change the world, to improve the lives of others while improving your own. Well, the truth is, running a business doesn't have to be as hard as many of us have made it out to seem. And you don't even have to do all that hustling stuff if you don't want to. You really can get into flow, into your zone of genius, and get back to the work you were sent here to do. But you have to ask for help. You have to be willing to work in new ways. You have to be willing to open up your mind to mentors who might be doing it differently than you've ever considered. And you have to be willing to actually implement new ways of thinking and running your business. If you're up for that, stay tuned. I'm Hanna Hermanson, your certified coach, international speaker, author, and yes, the founder of Dream Life is Real Life and the host of this show. And I've been able to help hundreds of coaches build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. Essentially, make their dream life their real life. And if you'd like help improving your business life and get your coaching business to the next level, we might be able to help you. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show to get all the resources and episodes that we talk about in this community. You can join our Facebook community, you can find me on Instagram, but more importantly, if you're really ready to integrate what you learn here today and on other episodes, then you'll be able to set up a complimentary 10-minute chat with my team. Again, at dreamlifeisreallife.com/show, no strings attached. We love getting to know you and seeing what are the right next moves for you. But now let's get on to the show. In this podcast, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life and business real. I started this podcast to bring you the role models that I never had. We talk to successful entrepreneurs, freedom seekers, business owners, and people living life on their own terms. To be a true leader, to create the legacy you desire, and to live in alignment, you need a tribe lifting you up. And I've made it my mission to be your tribe, to bring them to your ears at least, because after all, we are all in this together. Now, let's cue the music. Hey friends, today you get to hang out with me. It's just me, Hanna, here with an intimate look into an exclusive training. So today I'm actually taking a live training that we did inside of my group coaching program, all about email strategy and sequences. Because the truth is, we are seeing a massive shift and maybe a bit of a rewind when it comes to marketing, coaching, and services online. You might be noticing in your own life that after 2020 and everyone going online and social media being our main form of entertainment, people are tired. They're not going to Instagram as much. They're not clicking on Facebook ads as much. And we need to be positioned to leverage the one thing you own, your email list. And returning to a solid email strategy here in 2021 and beyond is going to be essential for your long-term growth online because platforms always change. Social media tactics and hashtag algorithms and blah, blah, blah always change. And I'm all about teaching you the lasting marketing tactics that'll work whether your phone is in the bottom of a lake or in your hand with all of your client contact information. And one of the things that I really am advocating everyone take a look at is email marketing. And the principles that are inside of email marketing are lasting. So you're going to hear things in this training that I'm teaching my clients to think about when they're sending mail to their lists. But you can also glean a ton in the rest of your marketing materials and strategy that you're going to want to implement. So I highly recommend you take a second and either save this episode or go get your notebook. You won't have the luxury of seeing the slides that I use in the presentation. Obviously, this is a podcast, but I want you to get as much as you can out of this, insider training that I'm offering to you. Now, you'll also hear that I offer my clients done-for-you templates. You might hear me say, yeah, and in the templates, we're going to talk about this. Now, unfortunately, that's not something I'm releasing at this time. Definitely stay tuned as, we consider maybe, offering you all those copy and paste, grab and go marketing templates. That's currently something I only offer to live clients. So if you're hearing that, yes, get excited, but you can email me at hannah@dreamlifeisreallife.com with any questions or additional needs you have. As you take a listen, know that you are a fly on the wall, so there might be some aspects you're like, did I miss something? And all you're missing is that you're just not an active live client in our coaching programs at this time. So get the most that you can out of this and email me at hannah@dreamlifeisreallife.com with any additional questions or needs that you have. Happy emailing. You'll notice the audio is a little different because, like I said, this is a true live training that I am giving to you right here, right now. Let's get into it. As I said, we're going to talk through both how you can start your email list, how you can grow your email list, what to say to them, and then ways to keep utilizing email because it is the only thing that you own. You've probably heard this before, right? But all these other wonderful platforms that we get to leverage and use right now to connect with people are fleeting. I just saw someone talking about MySpace on some I Love the 2000s account that I follow on Instagram. And it's like, man, yeah, we thought that was the thing 10, 15 years ago. Who knows what it's going to look like in 10 or 15 years from now? But what we do know is that personal data is something that we can keep, and we can use email and contact information, whether Skype starts to take over the world or Instagram decides we're done doing this thing. So I highly recommend starting to collect emails as soon as possible, and keep in mind that throughout your business, you're going to want to be thinking about ways to collect contact info, right? Not just followers, not just likes or whatever, but real business cards or real relationships or real people that you can interact with on many platforms. And we also talked about this a little bit when we were thinking about the follow-up game, is that email is a really great way to meet those folks on the sidewalk, meaning those people who are just know you're kind of there, kind of know what you do, but might not be ready to come into your store and take action on the first day that they meet you or hear about what you do. So email is that thing that everyone has said for the last 5 years that it's dead. It's going to die. It's going away. It's not true. We're going to have email for a while. And so if we can kind of buckle up and know that it's a great place to be playing for follow-ups, for people on the sidewalk, and just for overall building relationships. So where do we start? This is a great question we talked about when, thinking about follow-ups. Obviously we need to ask for permission. There's more and more regulation going on that you can't just, go headhunting and start your email list. So we will always want to ask for permission, but it's not as hard as we might think. How many of you thought, oh man, to start my email list, I have to have like a thing. I have to give them something and make a landing page and promise things. And that's simply not true, especially for starting out. So if you've gone through the 8-week program, at one point we ask you to think about 100 people that you know. And the intention of that exercise is to just get your mind working and chewing on that problem, right? 100 people, I have to write down their names. And if I would have told you 10, you would have written down 10. But since I told you 100, you can see that stretch goal. And there might have been, and how your brain works when it's stretched on a goal. So there might have been people in that list that you would love to keep in the loop on your business, that you'd love to have on your email list and be able to communicate with regularly or add value to regularly or stay top of mind to. So head over to your 100-person list and see if there's some folks that could ask for permission. Hey, babysitter from 5th grade, I don't know if you know or not, but I have a small business. I'm just curious, would you be open to me adding you to my email list? Very easy to get a yes there. I do recommending asking. Even a way to do this efficiently is to just email everyone that you know and ask, would you like to be a part of my email list? And take those responses to then add to your email list. Another place you already have emails living is probably through your call bookings. So, Kimberly, I know you have people pop into your scheduler from the internet randomly sometimes. You don't always know where they came from, but you have their email. So making sure that calendar is connected to whatever email program you use, because that is legal, if you will. If someone has booked a call, if they've gone through your process and you have their email in a calendar booking system, you can add them and be sending them ongoing messages. And remember that they can always subscribe, and many people probably will subscribe, and that's okay. Another place we can start asking for emails and collecting emails is in the DMs. So if you don't have a calendar scheduling magical thing, then definitely, if you're going to offer a clarity call, ask, what's the best email to send a reminder to? Do you mind if I enter your email as we schedule this? So that's one way to get it. But also, if you want to continue the conversation, or they're not a good fit right now in the DMs, but you say, would it be right if I added you to my email list so you can keep getting resources from me? Great. What's the best email to use? It's going to be conversational. You don't even need like a fancy landing page. Another way to do this is in stories. And you did this week, and I don't even know if you were knowing what you were doing, but I saw in your story, you said, I'm putting together spring offerings. Drop your email if you'd like info. And then she just put the little, type, ask me a question or whatever. And I've seen you do that before. And is that a way that you're being able to grow your email list?
Yeah, it was totally awesome, honestly, too, because I started by saying, like, would you be interested in hearing about offerings, like yes or no? And then the next part was prompting, like, drop your email. And it was interesting because then the people who said yes but didn't take time to drop the email, I just sent like a private message to, and they were like, oh my God, yeah, I want to hear. So it's cool to see like kind of these like two levels of engagement. Some people maybe didn't have the time to drop the email, but I still could reach out for the message later, and then ask like, hey, do you want this during or in message or an email? So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, awesome. So you can go back and look at people who voted on polls. And you can directly ask for their email, or you can say things like Angie, like, hey, are you interested in learning more? Or would you like these types of things? Yes or no, drop your email. Really great way to build engagement and get people taking action that you can then follow up on, right? We know the majority of people are not sitting back and taking every exact action we want them to and filling out all the forms and sending us their email. But we know that those likes, those votes are things that we can follow up on. The last way that many people, and I kind of said this at the beginning, but having a lead magnet, having a freebie, a training, your toaster, a YouTube video, whatever. Like if you have a resource you can share, definitely be asking for people's emails to access that. I remember when I started my business in, 2017, I put together this really cool, I thought at the time, this really cool free training, and it was going to blah, blah, blah. And I even ran ads to it, and I didn't get anyone's email. And my coach at the time, she's like, Hannah, like, this looks really good. I was like, yeah, 170 people have gone here, but like, I haven't heard from anyone. She's like, well, did you get their information? Did you send them an email? I was like, no. I just thought they'd land on my page, watch me, and then show up with their credit card at my front door or something. So learn from my mistake and make sure if you're going to give value, you're at least asking for an email to access that. Kimberly, I know we've talked about some of the like blogs or resources that you have on your website. It's great to have those things, but is there a way to have some sort of wall pop up or a login so that you can continue the conversation and they're not just one of those 170 people that bounce in and bounce out, right? I don't think I have this exactly, but like a training or a resource. So you guys can go back. I think it was Tuesday. I posted something on Instagram and I said, if you want this free thing, drop an emoji. If you want access to this tool, drop an emoji and we'll get it to you. So they're not having to like type in their email into my post, but then you guys can see, I said, hey, thanks, I'll DM you now. So they said, heart, I want this thing. I went into DM and I was like, hey, Anna, thanks so much for your interest. What's the best email to send it to? Now we're in the DMs and I have their email and it's kosher. All right, so where do we start? Okay, so we have some ideas of how we can kind of shake some emails out of the bushes with the low-hanging fruit that we might already have starting immediately. And we need to get organized. So Google Drive can work for a minute. I definitely don't discourage saving people's emails in a Google Drive. It's pretty trustworthy, pretty easy to copy and paste from there, but you'll quickly want to get some sort of CRM, right? So, or CMS, client management system. MailChimp is free, up to about 1,000, I think, contacts. So a lot of people like that because it's simple to use and it's free. I will tell you that their customer service is underwhelming, okay? So if you have a problem with MailChimp, you have a problem with MailChimp. So just know that going in, it's free and you kind of get what you pay for there. But it's nice to learn, okay, I can make sequences, I can make different lists. Like it's kind of fun to even just go in and play and learn some of the strategy and options that these types of platforms can afford you. I am a longtime proponent of Convertkit. So it has tiers of monthly payment that you would pay. I think I started out like paying $15 a month. Now I'm up to like 3,000 emails. So I pay more, maybe like $35 a month. I don't know. It's just been there for so long at this point as a business investment, something that I just know I'm going to use every month. And Convertkit is great because it does many of the things that MailChimp does, but it's also really user-friendly and they're very responsive to feedback and chatting with you when you have an issue or you have a question. And I also can help you with it. So there's more of it's not a dead end if you have a problem with Convertkit. I know others here, like I know Lindsay's using Constant Contact, I think. Tavia, you're in MailChimp, I think. So you all can ask your peers as well. If you ask me, I'd say Convertkit, but you can ask in your kind of circles as well what they're using and what they love. I know some health coaches have like big packages that they use sometimes, like Practice Better, that might do this for them as well. All right.
Love Practice Better.
You use, for your email, right?
I have MailChimp, but I have Practice Better, and I love it. It's a great tool. Does so much. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I knew there's some industry specific things. There might, I don't know if there's like a financial coach one, that would be something you could ask some peers. But Convertkit across the board is something I know, like, and trust. Okay, when do we send emails? When do we send? I'll talk about timing in a minute, but there are really 3 main times that you should be communicating with people via email. Number 1 is in a welcome sequence. So if they join your Facebook group, if they join a call, if they just say, hey, yeah, Angie, like, I'll sign up. I don't really know what for, but like that general, like, we're pen pals now sort of thing. So this would probably be good, Tavia, like in Practice Better, you can probably set up an automated email sequence that would go out to everyone who books a call on your calendar. Right? So you don't have to worry about that calendar piece we talked about. Another time to be following up and sending emails is if you give that freebie. a lead magnet, if they come to a training, if you invite them to a challenge. We know that your freebies are wonderful and cool and everyone wants to be there, but there's huge opportunity to continue nurturing their action taking outside of just those 40 minutes or that one thing you send them. And these first two, I'm going to give you exact templates. So you'll get Google Docs today that you can go and make your own for both of these happenings, when they join you and when they sign up for a freebie. Then finally on the regular. So this is what we were talking about a bit with Carissa, and I know we all have great intentions, and some of us even have time blocks of send email to list. But it really is important to start thinking about how you can offer that touch point, get in the inbox once a week. Because you've seen this. When you don't hear from someone in months, and then all of a sudden it's, blah, here's my new thing. And they're like all hot in the inbox. It's like, who are you? What? It's like, no, like did I sign up for this? So people do forget where you came from. But if you can kind of be nurturing that relationship over time, you'll see, just like everything, right? Compound effect. You'll see increased engagement over time. You'll see more action taking over time. You'll see random, yeah, actually, I need your help messages coming in over time. And this doesn't have to be, God, do you guys remember when people used to do like newsletters, like these intense, like multi-content things and graphics? Like, we don't need that. I mean, you could be literally copying and pasting an Instagram post, adjusting some of the action and sending that out. You all have a lot already. You can just make into an email. Blogs, Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, quick questions that you've thought about or headlines that I've given you in other content trainings. Like, don't overthink it. Most people want to get in and get out anyway. So short and sweet is totally cool. Don't overthink the like weekly newsletter thing. Just think a weekly message.
Question.
Yeah.
So I have like 59 emails collected from people who joined the Facebook group and dropped their email. I actually need to go back through my Calendly bookings because I haven't pulled every email from there. I'm sure there's some overlap of people who also joined the Facebook group.
Yeah.
I think those 59 are mostly just from people who joined the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that I could get closer to 100, but knowing that I've been just sitting on most of these emails for some of them quite a long time, and they've never gotten an email from me under like Defeat Anxiety Now, would you suggest like kind of like a very warm, like opening email to start before I just kind of start to plug and play with content I'm already posting?
Yes. So this is where the welcome sequence will be perfect for you to send out to everyone. It'll be just like your welcome, right? Welcome to emails from Anna, right?
Okay.
If they've gotten, let's say you've done something similar in the past, then anytime I have a client who's gone MIA, I say, let's just call it out. Call out, hey, this is what, I know I haven't messaged you in a while, a little bit about personally why. They don't care that you've been building a program or you have this new enlightened website. They don't care about that. They want to know, you've been busy, you've been prioritizing other things, you moved. Tell them something personal and then bring it right back to them. So I do want to stay connected with you to make sure we continue helping you defeat anxiety. Here are some resources, and I'm going to show you a super signature that I would recommend using if you've just been totally MIA. That's when it's like, and here's like the basic ways we can hang out or like where you can find me. Does that help? One other little thing you mentioned inadvertently, but I do want to mention is that when you're setting up your email system, it will ask you, what's your business name? What do you want the from line to say? And I highly recommend using your name, whether it's Anna Mahantara or it's Anna Stumbris, because those get way more opens than like Illuminate Financial emailed you. No, we want to see Kimberly's name. Okay. All right. It's a little thing. Timing. People always ask me about this. That's clock is over there for when, what time of day, what day of the week. And there used to be patterns, but they've all changed because of COVID. It's been really interesting, actually, my friends who are in like email marketing, how they used to have their little, test time. And I recommend this for you still, right? Test your audience. Experiment morning, afternoon, Monday, Friday, weekend, do all of that. But know that it's all kind of messy right now with the online reality of us plugged in so much, doing so much, and people starting to use their weekends to catch up on the fun stuff, right? So one of our clients, she's a corporate coach, and we used to send during the week, and now with COVID, she gets way more open during the weekend. I don't know. People are like sifting and organizing themselves differently. So I don't have any magic day or time. I think the magic day or time is when you do it, making sure it just gets done and you don't overthink. Should I send it at 1 instead of 5? Whatever, like getting it done. And over time, I would say after about a month or 2 of sending, we can look at some of the trends, right? So Stephanie is one person who her audience across the board, every platform is way more active on the weekends. That's still true. Great. You just have to take a look. But the only way we can get that data is by just starting to get stuff out, right? Okay. What should we say? Okay. So in the welcome sequence, Anna, this is a really great point. We do want to bring back the here's what I do. Okay, so the welcome sequence does want to touch on our 3 C's of clarity, connection, and credibility. So first and foremost, this is what I do. If you've been MIA, I'm MIA. Be clear, don't be fluffy in email in this kind of sequence. Welcome sequence should also, this is our sequence. This is not one email. So in a series of 5 to 10 emails, you should clearly let people what you do and who you do it for. They should also get connected to you, your story, your why, and they should start to see credibility, the results that you help people get. And again, you'll have a template for this, but no, you do want to start building that know, like, and trust in the welcome sequence, right? In your lead magnet sequence, we want them to understand why you now. So you've already gotten them to know, like, and trust you enough to say, yeah, sure, I'll take your thing, or I'll learn about your thing, or I'll watch your thing. But now they need to understand that after doing your thing, why do they need to take another action? Why is it perfect for them right now? So lead magnet sequences are more directed to an enrollment, more directed to booking a call. Whereas a welcome sequence is more of, here are all the places, here are the things we can, stay connected with. But lead magnet is more of that direct call to action. And for most of us, it's you need to book a call with me so that you can get these results starting now. And you'll see this in the Google Docs in a minute. And then on the regular, you just say what you've already said, okay? This is those weekly emails that you can repurpose, right? So not reinventing the wheel, but you just reinvent maybe the angle, right? So I'm not going to, like on Instagram, I'm going to say, drop an emoji. Whereas an email, I'm going to say, click here or hit reply, right? So it's just making sure you just fix those little things, but it's about saying what you've already said. All right, headlines are important, right? So all of this great stuff, this is lovely, but we have to get them to open it up first. And the headline is your opportunity to do that. In addition to them knowing your name and seeing your name come into their inbox regularly, knowing who you are. But the point of a headline is to spark interest to get them to open. Or drive clarity. Okay. So if you're looking to experiment with headlines that spark interest, you could say something open-ended or leading, like, I cannot believe these messages. She said what? right? These are curiosity types of things. And my grandma still doesn't get this, but headlines are marketing, not truth telling. Okay. So I can't even remember the things I've sent, like, I don't know. My grandma just like gets so confused and worried about my headlines. It's not for her, right? But it sparks her interest. Like, oh, what do you mean about these messages? Or why I didn't do this thing. We have a whole training in the modules about like these templates, right? So I know, Anna, you were there. Tavi, you might have seen this, where there's a whole formula in the connection section of our modules already that can give you some sentence starters and some ideas. But my way to do this is I'll write the email first, and then I'll brainstorm 3 headlines for that email. Just like your 100-person list, I don't want you to just think of one headline because you'll stop there. The good one usually comes about the 3rd one. So I'll write the email and then I'll do a few headlines like worst client ever, or what I would never do again, those kind of clickbaity things, because the point is to just get them to open the email. The other way that you can position your headlines is to just be super clear. How to go full-time in your coaching business, how to defeat anxiety now. You can break some things down. And then the other way to drive clarity would be like literally saying results already, client testimonial, FAQs about this program, just calling out exactly what you're going to say. We mix and match, right? So sometimes you don't want to always be the person emailing like clickbait. You don't always want to be the person just saying how to, 3 ways. So you'll see in the templates that we bounce back and forth a little bit between these. But again, I recommend you to be creative, but take that lens from the other side of the computer. And even maybe for this next week, observe what's interesting in your inbox. Do you trust the people who email you every Wednesday with the same headline? Or do you get really excited when someone sends you something clever every week? Just start to notice and think about from the other side of the screen, what do you think your ideal clients would open? Okay. We know in our industry, we got to be clickbaity because everyone's saying you can make 10K tomorrow kind of thing. All right. A few pro tips before we get into the templates. First thing is to coin terms. So this is true in all of your content. Coining terms is like using my like vernacular of, hey guys, yeah, it's not like PC, but I'm from the Midwest and I still say it. Or I might talk about bubblers, or just, coining terms that are true for my brand or my personality. But then also terms like, Anna, I loved on our podcast when you had the method, you had the acronym for how to defeat imposter syndrome.
The ROC method.
The ROC method.
Rock solid, or ROC, I think it was.
So if over time you keep using that rock solid method, or you nod to it, or you have a training about it, then maybe you sign off saying like, to being rock solid, right? But you start to use some of those things. Slang is cool, right? Emails are not the place to be super grammar conscious. This should feel conversational. So be chatty. You can use ellipses. You don't have to have complete sentences. People get plenty of text in their face all day, every day. So the more that you can be engaging, even chop up your sentences and how you lay out the email, you'll get people to keep moving through it a bit more. And that goes to this like reliable energy and format. So if I sent out an email tomorrow that looks like a textbook of like what you need to know about marketing in 2021, and I had like 3 block paragraphs, people would be confused because I use bullet points and emojis and like it's very chatty. So just be intentional with how you're showing up and be reliable in how you show up. And then I do want to give away this super signature, which is just kind of a pro tip that I recommend cycling in a couple times a month. If you're only doing 1 email a week, then maybe 1 like 1 in every 3. That's what I would say. 1 in every 3 of your emails can have this super signature, because it's a really low key, hey, guess what? This is what I do type of thing. And it's in the PS. So after you write your email, whatever you got to say, PS, if you want some actual help doing what I just taught you about. So this is after an email about making your copywriting convert. I gave them some value. But then I said, hey, if you actually want to do this, here are a few ways we can help you do that. Number 1, watch this free training we have. Maybe for you, that's like watch this YouTube video or read this blog or go look at some other value I have somewhere else on the internet. Or number 2, join my Facebook group or follow me on Instagram or join me on Clubhouse, whatever you're doing. And then the third thing, hit reply and we'll set up a complimentary clarity call with you. So these are easy, simple actions that they can take. And even if they just go, watch your training or they go to your Facebook group again, remember, these micro agreements matter, because every time they say yes to you, every time they take your action, they're getting more comfortable with, taking bigger actions with you. Okay. So this is just something to weave in. That's right, friends. That'll do it for our show today. But remember, if you're really ready to implement and take these ideas into action, then hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show, and you can access all of the resources we talked about, and more importantly, set up a complimentary 10-minute phone call with my team so that we can help you get clarity and some concrete action steps in place, so this doesn't just become another one of those feel-good moments, but an opportunity to actually make a change in your life and business, because all good things come in action. So we'll see you over there at dreamlifeisreallife.com/show and next week here on the show.